Hello. Today we are on season 2, episode 9, Chop Wood, Carry Water, which is a Zen proverb that we're going to try to examine today. In our cover shot, you're going to see an axe, and I am going to ask you, what is that axe all about?
Well, the axe is a tool which helps man, particularly useful at this time of year when the night's drawing in, and you use it to source, cut, chop, stack, and dry wood. and
Okay, but I thought are you going around Moscow chopping down, are there
no,
forests in
I
Moscow you can cut
escaped.
down?
I escaped and abandoned my central heating. Traded for hand-chopped wood for worms. So my relationship with wood and with axe are deeply ingrained. It dates back, I don't know, a few winters back, to 2015, I think, now I'm re-embracing log fires of all kinds.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I know that the story of this phrase, chop wood, carry water, it has some special meaning to me. I've read and studied and taught a little bit about Eastern philosophy, and there's some things you really can't put into words, but you can experience them. So for me, chop wood, carry water means do the next few necessary things. Like in life, there's so many things, so many unknowns, especially during these times where there's a lot of, rules and restrictions, and people are trying to figure out, should they travel during the holidays? What should they do? What about their friends? What about their family? What about their personal relations? There's so many things to worry about that if I get caught up in my, on the hamster wheel, I just get really anxious and I get wound up, which was one of our other episodes. So for me, chop wood, carry water means just do the next few things you need to do. Water the plants on the balcony, go cook some soup, do a load of wash. And to me, that gives me some peace because I can't figure out what to do in December and I don't know what 2021 is going to be like. I'm not sure how we're all going to get through the holidays. But I can cook some soup, I can water my plants, and I can do a little wash. So that brings me some peace.
I've been thinking about this koan lately too. I always liked it. Like before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, and after enlightenment, chop wood and carry water too. And I think I escape, alright, but I think it seems like that enlightenment isn't a form of escape. Maybe I'm just using it wrong. But I'm certain that my depression has been lifted by this axe I call Excalibur, by the way. So this koan, I like that a lot. And it's very good that you mentioned that.
Well, in an earlier episode you were talking about mindfulness and how two monks, an older monk was walking along with a younger monk, and they were not supposed to be involved with women, but somehow they carried this woman across the river or helped her get across the stream. And the older monk said he had left the woman at the stream, but the younger monk was still dwelling upon her. So I think a lot of worry takes place in our mind. And for me, I spent a little time reading and studying and trying to put into practice some of the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a contemporary Buddhist teacher. And he has a village in France near Bordeaux, and it's called Plum Village. And it's a center for mindfulness, for meditation, for gardening, for talks, for Dharma study. And I just happened to look up on the internet to see what was up at Plum Village, and it is closed due to COVID. So I'm not sure if whoever is in there is just staying or if people are trapped. But I suppose, as you have said before, wherever you go, there you are.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't exactly me who said it, but yeah, I repeat it.
Well, that's okay.
But you
That's
see,
okay.
with this COVID situation we're having, the idea of living like Robin Hood's man in Sherwood Forest might sound very appealing, right? No electricity or showers, and the whole trip could prove to be a challenge.
Well, for me, Robin Hood and his men were about redistributing wealth. These were like early socialists. They would rob from the rich and give to the poor, and they would have fun along the way and pick up women and eat, drink, and be merry. But I think the idea of going to the woods, going out into the wilderness. We talked before a little bit about Thoreau, the American writer who wrote Walden, how he went into the woods to discover the meaning of life. And we had another episode about Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer and how Huck left civilization and got onto the Mississippi River and somehow felt more free from the constraints of civilization. How do you feel out in the woods with your axe and the?
It's great. I'm actually I told you already that I'm re-engaging with this Stone Age energy, I think, or some kind of a source that many thousand years ago kept predators away. I have to roast my meat and boil my like old broth, and the whole wood I chop keeps me warm and safe, and my axe keeps me safe, and I don't know, from other people mainly, but and brings out the real man in me. Go figure.
Well, you would think that sitting in a nice high-rise apartment with your computer and all your conveniences and your iPhone and your iPad and your everything would make you feel comfortable, but actually it is quite anxiety inducing to have all these gadgets, because when one of them doesn't work or the internet is flashing or something doesn't load, I notice that I get so very impatient.
Right. See, you're
But
living like in the high
yeah,
riser and you're thinking, what's the point of life, right? That's the paradox.
well, but I think I've talked about this before. One way of relaxing for me is like gardening or cooking. And so when I'm cooking, I'm not thinking about the end product. I'm not thinking about following a recipe. I don't follow recipes. I just, go with the flow. And to me, it's very relaxing. Now,
But there are lots of
you know,
little things, right? The cooking is for women mostly, but the chopping wood obviously for men.
well, you gotta be careful about that, because there's a lot of women who are into archery and into rock climbing and into sword fighting, and we don't want to not acknowledge that. But I suppose traditionally men are into like chopping things and cutting things, but some of the famous chefs are men. But I'll go ahead and
Pretend that you agree.
let that
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let that agree. I was also going back to some notes that I had about mindfulness, and I remember when I first got into it, like I was so like obsessed with it that I got a calendar of the quotes of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I had like some things written down on a couple little cards near where I'm washing dishes, and it said like, when you're washing dishes, only wash the dishes. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's like such a brilliant statement. But really, when I drive, I'm distracted. When I'm sleeping, I'm distracted. When I'm going upstairs, I'm distracted. Like, you know, driving and texting and driving and talking on the phone. I think modern life is very distracted. And now that we have, children at home being schooled, college kids coming home, everyone's kind of like trapped together in their happy family unit. What's to do? Is that the Tolstoy question? What is to be done?
Yeah, that's Tolstoyan question.
Well, what is to be done?
I go to the gym when I think of what is to be done. I basically, by the way, not basically, one of my favorite movements at the gym is called farmer's carry. It's like you hold a heavy weight, like 2 logs or 2 buckets full of water, and in each hand, and attempt to walk with the solid upright posture for like, I don't know, 20 meters. I don't know, 50 yards or whatever it is in American metro
What is
system.
it called? Farmer's carry?
Yeah, that's very popular. That's become very popular lately because people don't do that anymore. You have a like you never carry something awful, anything heavier than a pencil or a laptop.
Oh no, I carry groceries upstairs.
Oh, I'm
No,
not
but
talking about
I
you.
hear I hear you. I mean, I hear you that we have become very lazy, and I think our bodies have become kind of mushy, and that we have to like purposely and with mindfulness do certain activities or chores or exercises to just to try to stay healthy. I think since many of us, myself included, I'm on the phone, I'm on my computer, I'm on a laptop, my head is down, I'm looking down. It's very easy to develop kind of a hunching in your back where your head is bent down. And if you've ever tried to stand against a wall with your heels against the wall, your back, your bottom against the wall, and then the back of your head against the wall, it's very hard just to stand up. I find it is very hard to stand
Huh.
because my head naturally pulls forward because I'm always like looking at stuff. But I suppose if you're out in nature, you're looking at the birds and the sky. And are there any like wild animals out there, like a squirrel or a
Actually,
wild
there are. I
snake?
can't see them. Squirrel, I just don't consider them wild animals. They're like domesticated, I think. But I am afraid of the big ones. I
Squirrels?
don't know. Someone's moving in the darkness. I don't know who it is. And I have this flashlight with me, and I just installed night vision camera, so maybe in the morning I'll see who it is.
Huh.
But you know,
That
all
sounds
this
really
crazy
primitive.
stuff, all this crazy stuff I'm doing in the wood, it's somehow like I'm no longer harboring immense amounts of resentment at people, because I'm
Well,
like
also,
fighting for
yeah,
survival.
if
And
you
I'm certain my
if you
depression, as I
go,
told you before, has been lifted
well,
by this.
if you go on a pilgrimage, if you go on a retreat, some people, will go away for a 3-day weekend or for a 1 week meditation retreat or a week in the mountains, or they go someplace with the purpose of kind of shedding their fears and anxieties and refocusing on what's important. So it could be a spiritual retreat, it could be a yoga retreat. But I read something someplace that was kind of interesting. They say that when you go on these retreats, it takes about a day to just unwind, and then the next day you finally realize you're there. Then the next day you have to start packing up to leave, and then you're mad and you're angry, so you leave the retreat angry. But but
Yeah,
I
you
read
have
that.
to like add few more days until you pass that stage.
Well, how does it that work? How does that work for you if you've
I
ever
don't know. The
gone
fifth and
away?
the fourth and the fifth days, I think, are the worst. You like criticize yourself, like how shitty father you are, and like you're a loser you're being. On the 10th day, it's okay. On 11th, you're completely happy.
Well, I also heard that the only peace you find on a retreat is the peace you bring in there. It's already inside you. You just have to discover it.
As you
I
said,
thought,
wherever you go,
wow,
there you are.
yeah,
Back to
gosh,
basics.
that's back to basics. Well, that sounds like a good place to kind of wrap up our talk for today. We've got some new episodes coming up on Don't Think About Cookies and Snowflakes, Best Day of the Week, On Being Human, Gin and Tonic. So I think we have some things to look forward to. And I'm going to let you get back to chopping your wood. I'm going to go just drink some water. Goodbye for now.
Great. Goodbye.